Back at it to start the quarter. Offense getting set to run a first down play. They open the fourth by going to the air. Grabbed by the receiver.
Well, it's another positive play, but man, look at the clock and look at the score. You still need a couple touchdowns to be able to get yourself back into this game and have a chance to win it. So you got to keep moving here and keep taking those shots downfield.
What's the play call here on second down for this offense? It's a shotgun run call. Breaks loose at the 45. That's a solid gain. Moves the ball into enemy territory. First down now at the 40.
Hey, it's a nice pickup. You got the first down on the ground. That's a great job. But remember, it's a two-possession game. You got to pick it up a bit. This defense will welcome those kind of plays all game long because the clock will keep moving. So you got to put that ball in the end zone and try to get the ball back.
And at first down, they go right back to him. The player is down injured after that last play. We'll take a timeout while they check him out. Second down play coming up. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw it. And he's going to take a shot down the left side. Tried to press the ball deep, but it's incomplete.
Well, they don't connect here, but this is what you have to do. It's late in the game. You need points. You're behind. You got to take some shots. I'd go right back to it, try to find a matchup, and go to one of your receivers that can make a play for you.
They've converted both third down attempts on the drive so far, but now it's 3rd and 8. Fighting for yardage, but the defense stops him just short of that first down marker. Looks like a man is down on the field after the last play, so we'll take a timeout. So they'll settle for a field goal attempt here. This will be a long-range attempt, 51 yards out. The kick is good. He knocked it right down the middle.
Boy, this guy has such a strong leg. No problem. Up into the net from 50+.
So after coming away with 3 in that drive, the kickoff team is out. He's going to return it from near the goal line. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. And out comes the offense set to take over here. Quarterback keeps the football. Gets the first and still running. The tackle at the 38. Solid gain. Nice play though.
Boy, it's fun to watch this guy run the quarterback option. This time he keeps it, big positive yards, and a first down. The defense has got to figure out a way to slow this guy down.
So one play moves the ball to the 38. It'll be first down. Takes the ball and heads to the left. And they've got him, but there's also a flag on the play. Obviously, the defense will decline that penalty on the offense and take the result of that play. Back now goes in motion. Defense will have to adjust. Throw to the running back in the flat. The defense all over it. They stop him right at the line. Looks like a player is down injured at that last play. We'll take a timeout while they check it out. Short completion. A 3rd down play coming up. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. That pass is caught. He stopped short of the marker, so it's 4th down now.
Quarterback had a lot of time to evaluate this defense, and most of his reads downfield appeared to be taken away, so he checks it down to his running back. And how about the way this defense just runs to the football to keep him short of that first down? Great job by the D.
And on 4th down, the punter sends it away. The returner is brought down. Gets us started on the next drive. The player is down injured after that last play. We'll take a timeout while they check him out. And the offense trots back out on the field again. First play of the drive, looking to throw the football. And he dumps it over to the tight end.
Hey, it's a nice way to start this drive off, but they've got a long way to go to be able to get this ball in the end zone. Then they got to get the ball back and score again. So positive yards, but doing it quickly is key.
That completion makes it second and medium. From the gun, he looks for an open man. Tight end makes the grab. They bring him down at the 44. That's a solid gain, getting closer to midfield now.
That's what makes this tight end so dangerous. You can flex him out into that slot position. He shows you his versatility. He can be an inline guy that can block, but here he shows you what he can do with his hands.
Pass complete for a first down. The offense gets a fresh set of downs. Tight end goes in motion before the snap. On 1st and 10, looking to throw. Incomplete. Really lucky to avoid an interception there.
Pretty nice catch here, but a missed opportunity for interception. Let's face it, a lot of these defenders, they've got it all. Speed, athleticism, hands. Sometimes a little questionable, as we saw here.
Here comes 2nd and 10 for the 44 after that incompletion. Looking to throw again. There's a screen pass to the running back. Impressive spin there. They make the stop after a huge play. Moves the ball to the 35.
And I don't think the defense had any clue that the screen was being called. They're getting upfield, getting pressure on the quarterback, and that ball gets dumped. There's no one left to be able to slow him down from getting a big gain.
The offense operating at peak efficiency. They come to the line again. Quick throw. The catch is made. Defense reacts quickly. A very short gain on the play.
Just a good job here by the quarterback. Got the ball out to his receiver. His guy eats up some yards. They stay ahead of the sticks.
Second down play coming up for this offense. Looking to throw here. Running out of time in the pocket. Oh, they got him. The pass rush finally gets home.
No, that's the one thing about a guy that always feels that he can rely on his legs. He's always trying to make a play, and this time he just wasn't able to get away from the defense, and that is a big loss for the offense.
So here comes 3rd and long, trying to overcome that sack. This is going to be really difficult. Looking to throw it on 3rd and very long. He lets it rip. This one's going to fall incomplete. Brings up 4th down.
Well, Chris, obviously they had to go through the air there to try to pick up this 3rd down and long, but when you're so far behind the chains, boy, you really allow this defense to dictate things, and it allows them to put pressure on your quarterback and can affect the timing, as we saw on this play.
And here comes the punter onto the field. And he lets it land, and it'll just bounce out of bounds. Looks like a man is down on the field after the last play, so we'll take a timeout. Offense comes out to start this drive. Off the play fake, looking to throw on 1st down. Delivers quickly to the left side. He makes the grab. Tackle's made, but not before he makes the 43-yard line. This drive is going now.
Well, how about this aggressive approach by this offense? They've got the lead in the 4th quarter, and these guys are continuing to throw the football. I think the offense coordinator understands that he can't allow his team to get too comfortable or complacent, even with having a lead here in the 4th.
Brings up 2nd down.
Here's the 2nd down play. Delayed handoff. Breaks into open space. And they built their 1st down yards before they finally bring him down.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to rely on that offensive line in the running game here to be able to secure a victory. Good call, and just keep working that clock.
Fresh set of downs for the offense. First down. And they're moving the receiver now before the snap. Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. Breaks into the clear. Out of bounds after another huge chunk on the ground. What a job by this offensive line today.
The defense has got to do a much better job here of adjusting to the pre-snap motion. They just kind of stayed in place, and it gave the receiver plenty of room there to make a nice play.
The offense is clicking, and the defense just searching for answers now. He cannot escape. It's a sack.
So the first snap in the red zone, and this defense, I'll tell you what, they are up for the challenge. A big sack that could really lessen the damage on this drive.
Second and long for this offense after the sack. Quarterback drops back from the shotgun. The pass rush closing in. They got him again. He's like a statue back there.
Well, this is what happens when you get behind the chains, Chris, is people like to say this is an obvious passing situation. It's really hard to vary things up and confuse the defense. This time the defensive line just came right in expecting the pass and blew up the play.
So here comes third and long. Giving up that sack has made this a real challenge for the offense. Now in third and very long, looking to throw. Running back grabs it on the screen. Defense makes the stop. The screen pass doesn't produce a first down. And now it's fourth down.
Now there's just nothing here for the quarterback to do other than throw it to his back and hope that he could get the yards after the catch, enough for the first down. But the defense gives some yards, but not enough for him to get to the sticks.
Well, here we go again. The field goal team is out there. This kicker's already got 3 makes in this game. And that one's straight down. And that will extend their lead even further.
Oh, Chris, it's a nice kick here to polish off that drive with at least 3 points up on the board.
Following the field, though, the kickoff team is out there now. Doesn't bring the kick out. Touchback. They'll start at the 25. Okay, so here comes the offense back on the field again. Looking to throw it on first down. It's an out route. The catch made. Heads out of bounds and a short gain on the play.
Well, at least they're starting this drive off with some positive yards. They need to be able to put this ball in the end zone, get a 2-point conversion, get the ball back, and then get another touchdown and another 2-point conversion. So you're still within a couple possessions. They need to get the ball down the field, and they got to go in a hurry.
Pre-snap motion from the offense. Quarterback wants to throw it on second down. Catch hauled in here over the middle. Stopped out at the 39, but good enough for a first down. A new set of downs after that completion. First down. Looking to throw the football. Caught quickly.
I love what the defense is doing here. Sitting back, throwing up some plays underneath, tackling these guys inbounds, and just keep that clock rolling.
Getting set up. Here's second down. There's the snap. Looking to throw the ball. The tight end has got it. Not much after the catch, but it is good enough for a first down.
Hey, it's a nice gain here, and they get the first down to stop the clock. But late in the game, trailing by a couple scores, these receivers have got to be thinking about getting out of bounds as often as they can to preserve that clock, to give them a real shot to come back to win it.
Looking to throw yet again. Finds Here's a man to the left. Big catch downfield. They make the stop, but not before a solid gain that time.
You know, we talked this week with the offensive coordinator about what makes this receiver so special. He kept referring to his route running. Here's an example of that. Great route, enough separation to give the quarterback a nice lane to throw the football.
Here comes a first down pass attempt. Looking downfield near the end zone.
Boy, the timing between the quarterback and the receiver on this post pattern, a thing of beauty. Great throw by the quarterback coming off that back foot, and the receiver could not have run a better route.
So the touchdown is huge, but now the crucial two-point conversion. You get it to a one-score game. On the ground, trying to power toward the goal line. And he will run it in. They can build the two-point try and make this a one-possession game now. Down 8. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. And here's the return from inside the 5. Stop at the 22. That's pretty solid coverage there. Offense drops that onto the field, hoping to start a drive here. Leaning on the run game here. A quick juke. And he's out of bounds after gaining decent yardage.
Positive yards are always important for an offense, but at this stage of the game, late in the ball game, playing with the lead, you're thinking about working that clock and continuing to keep the ball in bounds.
Second down after that run on the previous play. There's some pre-snap movement, back in motion. Makes a quick grab. Now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense.
Chris, that's another nice pickup through the air. I thought they might be really just out to run the football here with the lead. But instead, they're electing to throw the football. Different routes, quarterbacks in rhythm. Really, it's almost an extension of their passing game.
Looks like a player is down injured at that last play. We'll take a timeout while they check it out. Second down after that run on the previous play. Quarterback drops back. We're going to test the secondary. The third of the sideline steps out after a short gain.
Runs out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Brings up third down.
Backs lined up on either side of the quarterback. Here's some pre-snap movement in the backfield. Pass complete on the crosser. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible.
Well, I love the call here by the offensive coordinator. Has the lead in the fourth quarter. It's third down. Instead of running, you throw it. Take a chance of a potential incompletion, but instead you trust your quarterback. Completion, first down, fresh set of downs, and you continue to work that clock.
And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. Important second down play coming up. Send the back in motion. Out of the shotgun, he'll hand it off. The defense swarms him in the backfield. He had nowhere to run, loses 2 yards. And a player is down injured after that last play. We'll take a timeout while they check him out. 7th play of the drive coming up, but it is third down and long. Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down. Lets it fly to the wideout. Makes the diving grab. That was beautiful.
When the defense gets these guys to third down, they get a chance to get them off the field, and instead they give up the first down. So the clock will continue to move, and the defense is really at the mercy of this offense at this point.
This line getting set up. It's a first down play. And it's a kneel down. Time winding down. This offense comes to the line trying to bleed out the clock. And on the carry, he's heading left. Has the first down and more. He finally makes the stop with a huge gain. Sets up a first and goal. Well, finally some room to run for this back. The defense had done a good job for containing him until that play.
Well, they've done a really good job up to this point, Chris, of containing him. He finally does get out. But I think it's an example of why you don't give up on the running game. Even when you're not necessarily coming up with big carries, you're just kind of body blowing this defense. And eventually, bang, you're able to hit a big one here when it really matters.